Sean Capri and Lincoln Capri, and welcome to episode 120 of We the GamerCast, the official podcast of WeTheNerdy.com, and it publishes on iTunes, Google Play, and mother-loving YouTube every single Monday. Thank you for subscribing, hitting that thumbs up button. I saw you guys do that last week. Thank you for doing it again this week on the YouTube video. Thank you for being here and sharing and all the other good things that you guys do. I really appreciate it. Lincoln appreciates it too. He just doesn't really know. We're trying to teach him to show his appreciation other than giving this blank stare that he mostly gives. He should be napping right now. You should be napping right now, but you're not. You're podcasting, and that's the way that life goes. Guys, I'm getting way ahead of myself because if you're new, here's the deal. Every week I have sweet hangs with a stranger from the internet, and we talk about video games, and if you want to be part of the show, it's super easy. Just tweet at me, at Sean Capri. Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants, and we do this show on YouTube. You know, you may have heard of this before. You are making us better with everything that you do, and particularly the people at patreon.com/makeusbetter support this show, the Gaming Gurus, and If We Ran Nintendo, and the PlayStation Podcast. You guys are all amazing, and I want to give a special shout out to our Patreon producers. Lincoln is wiggling. Normally, I have done this at least once before, so thank you to our gold executive producer, Sheldon, Benedict, and all of our gentlemen executive producers, Nick Milicia, James Johnston, Dr. Doom, Jesse Armstrong, Glauco, Shaffer, David Ray, Michael Drummie, Brendan Myers, and Aaron Doherty, the handsome chef. Thank you. Maybe you're all handsome chef, gentlemen, executive producers. Bob, maybe Bobby will be pleased to know that we're just expanding the title a little bit. And Lincoln is like learning to be he's the Lord of the Dance on my lap right now. He's really into it. He's getting into this show. He's starting to understand that this is a thing that we do together on Sundays, whether he likes it or not. Also, if you're new guys, you may have missed last week. James Johnston, probably in the top episodes of the year for let's just nerd out. And that was about as geeky as a conversation as it gets, and I absolutely love it. If you missed it, go back, and thank you to James again. Thank you for your support, Dr. Doom. And thank you for being on the show and just killing it, man. It's always great to have somebody who isn't a podcaster, who doesn't do this, on the regular, and then come in and just own it. And that's like the most satisfying thing. I'm realizing now, looking at myself in the camera, that like my glasses are all kind of weird because I'm keeping my headphones a little off center, and it's cocking my glasses a little bit. So if you're watching the video, I kind of look a little silly right now, but we're gonna keep moving on. Remember, stick around to the end of the show because we keep giving away Steam games. And they have been actually being redeemed. So thank you guys for doing that, and thank you for listening. It's just my way of saying thank you as we are in the holiday season, currently in the middle of Hanukkah, on the tail end of Hanukkah, and entering into Christmas. I'm not sure where Kwanzaa lines up with all of this stuff. So whatever you're celebrating, Festivus for the rest of us. I hope you guys are having a great December and looking forward to some family time. I've had a few Christmas parties I've gone to over the last couple of weeks, and as exhausting as it is to go from work to a late night dinner and just all you can think about is just getting home to some sweats and video games, it is genuinely amazing. I've been able to there's 2 dinners that I go to every single year, and one of them is with my friends from high school, and I won't even say how long it's been since we left high school, and we get together every Christmas no matter what. And similarly with the second dinner, friends from a different high school that I didn't go to, but same amount of time. Like, we've been doing this Christmas stuff for probably 10 or 15 years, it seems. So graduated in 2002, and we've been doing it ever since. So yeah, that's pretty much the math. And Lincoln is now seeing himself on the screen. He's a little vain. We show him pictures of himself, and he just really enjoys it. So are you just having a really good time? We'll try and get through this, guys. Thank you to all of our patrons who've been with us since day one. This is the month of December. This is the 6th month of Make Us Better. So thank you to Gabe Hills, Ryan Black, TJ, Nintendo Dads, Joel Brooks, Josh Stapleton, Adam Leonard, Nick Milicia, Grrouchie Surge, Ryan Turford, Garret Bland, Antonio Guillen, and Luke Lore. You guys are amazing. You're there from day one. You believed in this vision. You've made us better. We the GamerCast has 2 extra episodes thanks to you guys. We hit that milestone, which is kind of my favorite thing because we get to bring people back. We have great people come on every single week, and later this week you're going to see Tim Router from Married to the Games. He'll be on, and it's all thanks to you. He's coming back. I haven't talked to him in a year and a half. That episode is recorded, ready to go. Thursday, I think it will probably launch, so check that out. I hope you guys are enjoying those returning guests. Moving into the end of the year, guys. 2 weeks left of December, and I don't have to work a single day in December, and I'm so happy. I'm so pumped to have some time off, catch up on my backlog, hang out with this little guy, and just kind of decompress. If you have vacation time, if there's ever a way to just take some time away, Lincoln is making it's an all-time record. Are you just talking the absolute most? Normally you just kind of sit here and you're just gonna grab the microphone. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to just having some time off, catching up on my backlog, and really playing board games with the family. Honestly, my dad just picked up Pandemic, and we're going to play some Settlers of Catan, and just exploring but maybe some Jackbox and stuff. Guys, I freaking love Christmas. I love hanging out and just kicking back. It's nothing but sweats for me and you, Lincoln, for the next couple of weeks, so I'm really looking forward to that. Really quickly, Star Wars is a thing, and I talked about it on a podcast, so check out Secret Friends Unite with our good friend Todd Oxtra. And I just wrapped with him. We talked for a couple hours about all things nerdy, including what's going on with Fox and Disney and that whole situation, and Star Wars. So I give it a rating. We talk about our pros and the cons, and Lincoln is grabbing the Xbox One. Goodness gracious, let's get to the end of this. What else? You know what? Why don't we just get right into it? Lincoln would like us to get on with the show. Today, we go to the other hemisphere, everybody. We go to the southern hemisphere where they drink upside down and their toilets flush backwards. Nato Johnston is from the OK Beast Network. You know him from 4 Yanks and 1 Aussie. You know him from A+ Anime. I absolutely adore this guy. He is fascinating to listen to, and there's some great stories here, so look forward to it. It feels like a really big deal to have Nato on, and I feel like he's pretty smart, and I probably should have picked his brain more about games and anime and stuff, but instead we talk about strippers. So here we go. Nato Johnston. Because you're 19, that's why.
No, I'm 29.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I'm an old boy.
Oh, okay. Well, that changes things a little bit.
Yeah, I know I look young, but I'm not.
You do look young, and you live a young man's lifestyle.
Yeah.
Look at that tattoo. What do you got on your arm?
It's a big dragon, and it's like water on this side, and it's all flames on the other side.
What does that mean?
It was just something cool at first that I wanted, because I just wanted, when I originally went in, because I got this, when did I get this cow? Probably about 19? Yeah, about 19 I got it, so about 10 years ago. Yeah, I just wanted flames and water wrapping around my arm, and then, the tattoo was just it's gonna look terrible.
Oh, really?
He's like, I'll set it up here, but you need something in the middle, and I was like, well, I like dragons. He drew a big dragon for me, and that's the simplest method of it. But it's my dragon is my Chinese birth year, water is for Aquarius, and then fire is my elemental type and stuff like that. So
that makes a lot of sense. And so this was 10 years ago?
If I want, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So if you need anything, otherwise, just I kind of think dragons are sweet.
Yeah.
Dragons are kind of awesome, and I wanted one on me. So
yeah, it usually depends on the type of person I'm talking to. If they look, they're like, oh, it's a cool tattoo. What is it? I'm like, oh yeah, I like dragons. But if somebody's like, oh, what does it mean? That's when I'm like, oh, it actually means this and that.
But do you think it has to? Where do you land on that?
A bit of both.
Okay, well that's good. I can see that.
I genuinely do like dragons.
Yeah.
I love dragons. So.
Dragons are badass, man. And have you gone 10 years without another one? I can't believe you're not adding to it. That's just waiting for the rest of the sleeve to go.
The bottom, and I want to do, because I kind of want to do all 4 elements. So then I want to earth and wind on this. So
yeah, but nobody likes earth.
Yeah, but I want to set
earth
up,
sucks.
The then I'll have some cherry blossoms and stuff like that.
Well, that
and then
sounds
I
nice.
Also kind of want a redesigned version of what's the wolf from. God, now I'm blanking on the name.
Twilight
Maxima?
Princess?
No. The one from. Oh, God, it's a white wolf. It was on Wii and stuff like that. It was
Twilight Princess.
No. God,
Now all I can think of is Hangover and his shirt and the wolf pack. That's all I'm thinking of right now. I can't, and nobody around you is helping you out either, which is amazing. Somebody is screaming right now. By the way, this is the show. I don't know if you know that, but like this is pretty much it. We just sort of like record for, I don't know, about an hour or so, and then that's kind of, there's like no production value almost, and somehow people listen to it. So that's kind of sweet. Nice. Like we don't do any like official intro. You don't have to like worry about like, okay, sit there and do nothing while I introduce the show like every other week.
Okami is the game.
I'm actually disappointed that you blanked on that a little bit.
That's the wolf. I kind of want a redesigned version of that wolf there, because like I want a Japanese style drawing of a wolf, because the dragon is a Japanese dragon. So I want to keep in the same theme, because I've seen certain people's drawings when they've done like a Western and then a Japanese like tattoos near, and they just don't mix well. So that's why I wanted. God, what is the dog's name from Okami? Atsuma.
That is not in my wheelhouse at all.
Yeah.
So how have you gone 10 years without adding to it, man? I feel like there's like this thing, just money. Yeah. Yeah, tattoos are expensive, aren't they?
That one.
Oh.
Yeah.
But stuff's expensive in Australia.
Well, yeah, and on top of that, like as you can see, it's 10 years old and it's still.
It looks good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you didn't go to just some hack shop.
No, yeah. The uncle that did it, he's like one of the best in Australia. He like won like tons of awards. Like his walls are just lined with awards and stuff like that.
That's incredible.
It was worth paying the cash for it. 'Cause
you could get a tattoo of Ian underneath. You could get Ian Purcell just instead of the wolf, because you can't remember his name. Just get Ian on there.
Yeah, exactly. I had two windows open. I've got you open in two. Like you're there and there on both my screens. It's weird.
I'm everywhere.
All right, I'm gonna close this one. Hopefully, it doesn't kill the call.
Okay.
No, it did. All right.
All right, we're good. We can just continue on, dude. I've been wanting to have you on like forever, and I was looking through the chat.
I was disappointed about last weekend. It's like because it was my mate's 30th, so it's like I was like, oh, okay, I'll have a few drinks, and next minute I was like catching a cab home.
No.
Spent the whole day vomiting all Sunday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
It was one of those.
It was not a nice day.
Do you know the secret of like soda crackers? You just get like this box of like those just dry crackers, like maybe salted a little bit. Takes care of everything. Like that's.
Oh, I couldn't even keep anything down.
That's
like,
the thing. Just a little like you just take the corners first, and then it cures everything.
Might help. Because I was trying to take like some painkillers and stuff like that, and like 2 seconds later I was like, Dunny, toilet.
You know when you wake up and you're like, it's gonna be a day.
Yeah, it was. I had to cancel 3 podcasts and a stream that week on Sunday.
The whole week.
You weren't the only one that got cancelled on, because I was supposed to DM a Dungeons and Dragons game with some Australian friends in the afternoon. I was like, I had to message them, and I was like, nah.
Not getting any better, and you're just kind of like the minutes are just flying by, and like things aren't getting better. You're like, is this forever?
Oh man, it's like 9 o'clock at night by the time I realized, and I was just like, oh.
Did you have to work the next day?
Yeah. Yeah. and then because I am the age I am now, like usually you get that like hangover that's still the next day.
Oh yeah, the 2-day hangover becomes a 3-day hangover, and this is. I don't know, man. Like you mentioned that you don't drink too much, and I think that this is just the curve of the age as you start to round that corner into 30. That's kind of what I ended up doing as well. It's like, I kind of like waking up on Sunday mornings, like not dying. That's pretty sweet.
I've got, what have I got now? A month and a half, and I'm 30, and I'm just like, oh
man. There is a time like when in my 20s when. Like, we would drink Friday and Saturday every week for probably, like, 4 years. Like, it was just insane. And I remember, like, the first Sunday that I woke up, like, not having drank the night before. And I'm like, oh, this is really nice. Like, I got up and I, like, did jumping jacks and did, like, just activities because I didn't know what else to do with myself.
Yeah, I know. Oh, man. That's why, as I hardly ever drink these days. It's just not worth it. You just have to write off a whole day, and especially when you work Monday to Friday, it's just weekends are so precious.
They're so valuable.
I hardly get enough time to play video game, like all the games I want to now, let alone cutting off a whole day.
1/7 of the week. Because and also you spent all the money the night before, and yeah, man, these are when the values start to change, Nato.
Man, that's where the problem was last weekend, because they'd bought up a whole like they'd bought a whole bunch of stuff and they were mixing like mojitos all night. So like, it was
those
just
are
at a
deadly.
friend's house.
Has anybody ever had a night of mojitos and not just gotten like just wrecked? Is that
they just go down so well.
Oh, but I don't think they do. I feel like they taste like a hangover. Like I feel like when I drink it, it's sort of like tequila for me as well. It's just like
yeah, that's the opposite for me. Like, I could drink mojitos for the rest of my life if I never could get a hangover.
I think as many times. So I think everybody has like, what's a drink for you? What's a type of alcohol you're just like I've had it. I had a horrible experience and I can't do it anymore.
Oh, vodka. Yeah, vodka.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's
like,
lemon rum. It's like this limon. Oh, dude, I had just like one of the first experiences too. It's just, like when you don't even know what you're doing, and you're like, well, I don't think drinking, like getting drunk, is a real thing, so I'll just throw this down like it's soda. And no, that's not the way it works at all.
I never drank it again after the. I'm pretty sure it's the same concept in America, but like after you finish school, like. Like 2 months after you finish school, like year 12 or whatever, before you go to university, you go like, it's called schoolies and stuff like that, where you go, it's like spring break similar.
Okay. Oh yeah. So you just go nuts.
Similar concept to spring break, except for like, we like in Western Australia, everyone goes down south to like the beaches and stuff like that in south of Australia, and you just get trashed because you finish school and you're at the end of the year, because it's usually like December you go do this, because like exams finish up in start of December, and then you head down south for like 2 weeks, and every year 12 goes down. And oh man, there was just one night I drank like a whole bottle of, you guys have Smirnoff there?
Yeah, yeah. I'm in
Drank a whole
Canada,
bottle
by
of
the way, so like we can talk shit about America if you like. Like we can just kind of like,
that's
yeah, we're in the
right.
Commonwealth now.
I don't even have to convert.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We can talk about all the kilometers and
Yeah, because like, well, that's easy. Like at the moment it's summer now, and it is around about, what is it, 28 today inside, and it's probably gonna get up to like 35.
Oh my, that's too hot. That's too much, man. Is that good? You're happy about it?
I like that. Yeah, I got aircon. That's literally what I turned on as soon as this podcast. I was like, I'm not sitting here in a sweat box. So
no kidding. Yeah, no, it's quite the opposite. It's like -5, like snow. I mean, that's kind of the way that the world works. But it surprises me that in Australia everybody goes down like south to go. Like, don't you just like head outward and you hit a beach? Like, why do you have to hit that south beach? What's so special about that spot?
Well, like down south is like, it's not well, if you're on the east coast you head north, because the good beaches are north, like you go up to the Gold Coast and like where the Great Barrier Reef is and all that. That's the good beaches there. But in here we go down, like there's nothing north, and unless you drive for like, I don't know, a good 20 hours, you'll get to a town north. So everyone heads down south.
Just nothing.
That's where all our wine yards are, all our like nice beaches, like beaches that are like empty. Yeah. Like, because in Perth you have great beaches like Coogee and Cottesloe and Scarborough are beaches, but everyone goes there and they're all full. And so everyone goes down south because it's all kids and that's it, and everyone just has fun down there.
I love it, man. My very first guest on this show, like before I even knew that this was even going to be a thing, I just put up this note in Kind of Funny. I'm like, I'm thinking about doing a podcast and maybe like just inviting people on, and Seamus Mullins came on, and I wanted to have more people from Australia on, but it's actually kind of like, I don't know, you probably experience this with the podcast that you do. It's a little tricky lining up time zones. You probably get it wrong like 9 times out of 10. I know that I've got to triple check. So like,
well, because I don't know, do you guys do daylight savings in Canada?
Yeah, and it sucks. It's so like, I just want to get rid of it.
The rest of Australia does daylight savings, but Western Australia doesn't. Right. So I have to compensate for, if I'm doing stuff with Eastern states, I've got to remember, now I've got to add an hour on. And then if I'm doing stuff with America, they're also doing daylight savings. So then I'm like, now, because it used to, with the East Coast of America, I was perfectly 12 hours when they're not having daylight savings. But now, because they are, now I'm 13 hours, and now I've got to recalculate everything because, oh my God,
so who are the 4 Yanks? Like, where are all the 4 Yanks that you do 4 Yanks in an Aussie? Because, like, just the coordination that you guys have to do is insane.
So we've got Cassidy up in Portland.
Right.
Then we got Elmer in Missouri.
Okay.
So, and then we've got and then I've got Andrew in New Jersey, and then I've got Sam in New York.
Yeah, okay. So at least you got a couple people on the East Coast, but Portland's over on over on the West
West
Coast.
Coast. And then Missouri is also Mountain
Central?
Time or Central Time.
Yeah, I think it might be
it's one of
Central.
those.
My God,
It's 1 hour off.
Who's
East
coordinating
Coast.
everything then?
Usually me.
Oh, is it?
It's just easier. It's just easier. Like they set up their times, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'll just translate it to my time and figure it out.
Maybe you should change the name. Maybe you should come first. You should be the Aussie and
One
his
Yank,
four
one
and
Aussie.
his and put some ownership around it and his 4 Yanks. I wanted to talk to you about your love of anime. So I had Ian on forever ago, and I've discovered OK Beast. It seems like a lifetime ago now. Huge fan, and just love the quality and like the knowledge depth that you guys have. Like other people just seem to fake it. Hi, I'm right here, just faking it. But like you guys actually know stuff, and that's kind of what I've always been very impressed with. So
yeah, I like to claim that I'm part of that like awesomeness, but I am really just pigtailing on the A+ anime part of it, because I'm actually terrible at those kind of things. Like I'm a very mathematical mind, so
Sure.
I'm not good at writing essays. I'm not good at I'm good at talking, but I'm not good at like expressing why I like something usually that well.
I disagree, man, but I mean, I think that you and I connect in that way. Like, I would, if somebody said, like, you're, like, here's a compliment for this, I'd be like, shut up, this is weird, this is awkward for me, so I don't like that.
I think the episode that just came out is I did with Chase, and we did it on Akira, and man, Chase is one of those people that his mind perfectly allows him to describe why he loves something, and half the podcast, I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I wish I could talk like this.
And it's like so natural.
Not only the mind to express it, but the knowledge of words to even express it. Like I'm terrible in English as well, so like my base vocabulary is very small. So like I can say, "Oh, that was very fun," but somebody like Chase or even even like Ian like pretends he's not, but man, he is very eccentric
smart
in his words. Yeah. So
yeah, people like that remove very from their vocabulary. Like that's kind of where they end up. You just don't say that at all. So how did you get like mixed up into all of this stuff? Like I'm gonna start with getting mixed up in OK Beast and everything, but I kind of want to later come back to anime because obviously there's something there as well, and dragons.
I started the way I started really with OK Beast is with Alex. I met him at Kind of Funny Live 2, and he was one of the people I talked to at Kind of Funny 2, became good friends, found out he was an Xbox kid, which in that community is a very rare thing. So
yep, I know the deal.
Exactly. I can see your beautiful little S right behind you.
She's just right here. I just keep the S here. I play on the X in the other room. So like I kind of really like. I kind of have 2 X's right now.
2 X's? Oh my god, I'm so jealous. I haven't even got one. I've still got the day one base Xbox sitting over there.
Man, I had quite a journey with that too. Like Xbox Canada sent me a review. I gotta send it back in January, but maybe not. I asked them, like, maybe are you letting people keep these things? They're like, we'll let you know right around the holiday. So I'm going to ask again in a couple weeks. But I had a pre-order for the Scorpio, and I kind of had that, like, early chance to see if I really wanted it. And I basically put my money where my mouth is, where I'm like, I think this is worth it. I'm going to keep my pre-order. And I talked to my wife, and this is how you know, like, find somebody like this, everybody. I said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep this Scorpio or not, like the review copy. I'm like, what do you think? Like, should I like take it back? Should I like just keep this one and try it? And she's like, why don't you just buy it? And if they let you keep it, then you have 2. And I'm like, if I could marry you again, then I would get down on one knee right now because that's the greatest thing I ever heard.
Yeah, I still remember the time, like with my TV, like it was a very, very expensive TV. I bought a 4K when they were not the easy thing to buy.
Awesome.
But I remember the day they had 10% off or something at the shops, and I remember ringing my missus and be like, hey Anna, you know how like I've had that 32-inch for like forever? Like we've had it for like 6 years now.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Well, like I bought that at the start of the LCD time as well, so that's how long I've had that. And then I was like, look, so it's 10% off. She's like, it's your money. You go, like, I know you love your TVs and you like to have play on a big screen, so like, just go buy it. But the only thing she was pissed off is how big it is. Like,
how big did you get?
72.
Whoa, you went from 32 to 72?
Yeah.
Good for you. I mean, how you buy a TV every 6 years? Go big.
Yeah, that's my concept. I buy because the 32 was one of the biggest ones at the time when I bought a 32, and then I could keep it for that long because it was a 32. Now you look at a 32 and it's like that's the base model that everybody has.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, I bought my 70 and now, yeah, so
That's
now
glorious.
but we were living in an apartment at that stage and it nearly took up most of the wall it was on. So, but it is fun though when people come over and just like, in my defense, like that's
I'm not attacking you.
That's how they sell you a big one in the stores though, because when I was looking at the 72, there was like an 80 or something next to it and another 80. So the 72 didn't look that big. That's why I was like, I think I need this one because it doesn't look as big as the 80. Like I need this one. And then when I got it home and set it up, I was like, this is massive. I think I've done wrong, but now I love it. And it's always fun when somebody walks in and just like looks at it and goes, that is a big TV. And I'm like, yeah,
yep. I love it. Did you name her?
No, she's just my gal.
Oh, okay.
She's just my gal.
Yeah, the nameless wonder. So you meet up with, okay, actually talk to me about, because I talked to Ian about this as well, like traveling to San Francisco for Kind of Funny, like even for me, like I was traveling from Edmonton down, it's not like around the corner, like it's one of those things where, I mean, Australia's a totally separate case, but it's almost one of those things where if something is like over an hour and a half away, it might as well be 50 hours away, like it's just like not really like in your visitation sort of circumference.
No. So there actually is like a whole bunch of like things that came together.
Okay.
That was like nearly a moment of like the universe is kind of telling me to go to this thing right now. So it's Kind of Funny Live 2. I think it was a month or two before it was about whatever the date Kind of Funny Live 2 was, and it was just a normal day at work. Went into the morning meeting and like because I work in mining, we usually have like a toolbox meeting where everyone comes in at the morning and like we talk about what we need to do for the day. Also, like what safety things need to be put in place.
What are you mining?
My company supplies all of the equipment for offshore drilling rigs. Yeah.
And you dig that out of the ground? I'm imagining that you're digging like big equipment up out of the ground, like the dinosaurs. They used drilling equipment
in the Mexican Gulf and all that. Those are big oil rigs that sit out in the water.
Yeah.
That's what we supply to off Australia.
I gotcha. Okay, I'm thinking mining like you're like digging into a mine.
Yeah, that's even a different.
It was funny in my mind.
Yeah, most of the people when I say mining are like, "Oh, coal mining! You're down in the coal mine."
Exactly. That's like in my backyard, basically. Like that's where I live. That's what we do. So, okay.
That's all on the eastern states. So, and we had the normal meeting, and he goes, "Look, we're gonna have a very big end of the year. Like all of our contracts are all the end of this year, like from about October to January. So, if you guys would." I would really encourage you to take holidays in the next couple of months because we probably won't be able to have holidays at the end of the year because we'll be so busy. We can't afford to lose anybody. So and I have always usually 100 to 200 hours holiday owed to me all the time. So I'm like, well, you know what? Cool. I might do a holiday. And then I went back to my desk, sat at my desk, and then I think it was just a post about Kind of Funny Live. And I was like, oh man, that'd be hella funny. Imagine if I could go to Kind of Funny Live and stuff like that. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna check flights. Just to amuse myself. Like there's no chance. There was a special on to fly to San Fran at that time when I was checking, and I was like, no way. It's usually round about $1,500 to $2,000 to fly to San Fran.
Absolutely, yeah.
It was about $800.
Oh my! You can't afford not to go.
And then I was like, oh shit, like, oh, I can't. Like, my house is going to be ready, like, because we were building at the time, in the house I live now, and it's going to be ready in about a month or two. Like, I don't know how much money I'm going to need. The house is an expensive thing. I've rented all my life, but, like, having a mortgage and rates and all that is a whole different ball game. Like, also, I don't know what I want to buy for the house. I was like, no, I better not. I better be cool, calm. That afternoon, the builders rang, and they're like, we've had a problem with X and Y, so the house is going to be delayed and probably till nearly the end of the year or maybe into the next year. And I'm like, no, fucking way.
Like, this is all happening one after another.
And then I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm gonna do it. So I bought the flights just after that, and then I bought the tickets, and then that's when I posted in like Kind of Funny Live, and I was like, oh my god, I'm coming, everybody. Like, I didn't know anybody at that stage, and to be honest, I was literally only going for the show. I was like, oh, maybe if I ran into one person, I'll probably say hello or something like that. Because like I had that, like, I hate saying it this way, but like I have a lot of in life friends and all that. A lot of people in that community. No offense, like not being mean to them. A lot of them like find friends online. Right. I had a lot of friends online, so like the idea of finding friends overseas, I was like, it'll be cool, but like I don't. It doesn't mind to me. So like, then I was like, oh cool, yeah, I'll say hello to people and stuff like that. And then, so fast forward until when I get there, I land, I go to the pier, and then I start meeting people, and I'm like, holy shit, these guys are super fun. Like, I want to know all of you and stuff like that. And then, so I talked to people like Andrew Taylor. Andrew Taylor was probably the first person I ever met and talked to on that pier. And like, he's still to this day one of my good friends.
And was it weird at first for you? Like not knowing that you go in there and you're like not really looking to meet friends, but like you just find yourself, like I gather you just like make friends wherever you go.
Well, like anyone who's met me in person, like I'm very bubbly. So like,
shocking.
I could, yeah. So I like making friends.
Yeah,
man. It was not the purpose of why my original trip to Kind of Funny Live 2 was. It was literally, I was going to go, I only booked 2 days either side because I was like, well, I'm in America for the first time. I might as well explore. Like, it literally wasn't to go to these community events. But in the first day after that first meeting everybody on the pier, I was like, fuck San Fran. I'm going to every community event. I'm going to see everybody.
Did you go to X-Men? Did you go see X-Men? Oh, well, that was good. That was better.
X-Men was released a week early in Australia, so I'd already seen it.
So you knew it was trash.
I knew it was trash, and I was like, I didn't want to tell anybody because I was like, I don't want to be mean to everybody that's going to this thing.
You just see like this crowd of 100 people going all marching into the theater, like you guys don't even know what you're getting into.
Yeah, because I was like, that's the only thing I skipped. That's the only community thing I skipped because I was like, oh man. Also because I was extreme. That's the day it finally my jet lag hit in that night. So I literally went to bed at like 8 o'clock that night. Anyway, so it was alright. But then so during the time I met Alex, I became good friends with his Mrs. Kayla as well. And then I was like to him, man, we got to stay in touch once we leave because you're an Xbox guy and I need Xbox guys to play on in different time zones. It's always fun having people in different time zones because then at different times of the days you can, especially on a Saturday and Sunday, you can wake up on Saturday morning and everyone's like, in America it's like, oh yeah, we're still night for us, so let's play. And I'm like, yes. So I played video games heaps with Alex until their Extra Life that they did, and Alex was like, their first one, Alex v Bless, and then so Alex was like, well, I know you're an Xbox guy. I need you to come in because certain games he hadn't played and I'd played. And he's like, yep, be our Sherpa. So like Left 4 Dead 2, I think I Sherpa'd a whole bunch of people through. And then it got to the time when it was like their nighttime, but my morning. So Alex had gone to bed and Blessing was up just like dying, trying to play GTA alone. And Blessing's like, I haven't really talked to you that much, Nato. Jump in chat and we'll just chat. So like jumped in his Discord and talked to him most of the night. And then because Ian was in Japan, he was also at that time. So he jumped in. And then me and Ian started talking about Japan. And because I'd been there a few times, so I was like, oh, have you been here? Have you been here? And he was like telling me good places to go next time I go back. Because like Japan for me is not much of a flight. I think it's like 8 hours, 8 to 10, depending if you have to do a layover.
Where would you? I try to imagine like where a layover would happen. You just like take a break in the middle of the ocean.
Singapore.
Yeah, I mean that actually makes more sense than my version. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Well, I have most of Southeast Asia above Australia. So,
right.
Yeah, it's quicker to get to Southeast Asia than any other capital city from Perth in Australia. So all the other capital cities are like 3 to 4 hours fly, while most of Asia is only 2 hours flight for me.
Does that proximity sort of like bleed over in terms of like the culture that you guys get, or are you still like very secular?
We have a lot of Asian like immigrants. Well, back in the day. Now that most Australians here are like most third generation Australians are still like a couple of my best mates. They're grandparents immigrated from Asia, but now they're full Australian, like 100%, more Australian than me sometimes.
What does that even mean?
Well, like I'm not very patriotic about my own country.
Fair.
Like I if the opportunity ever arose, I would get out of Australia pretty much like
what
that.
What do you need to have happen for that to, like, what kind of opportunity? Like a job somewhere?
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
And a reason to move somewhere. Like I've always said I would move to Japan in an instant.
That was gonna be my question.
That I could do, yeah.
Ian's probably working something out for you.
Well, no, as I said, I'm not good at English or teaching or something like that. So, and they're probably very good at maths, so they don't need a stupid Australian to come teach them maths. Like, Japan is just so intelligent in anything. Like, the only thing you could teach them is English. And it wouldn't even surprise me if they're better than, like, Cow, sometimes she's like, Ian's missus also is like, oh, my English is really bad. I'm like, Cow, like, your English is probably better than mine. I'm fucking terrible at that.
And so, like, I love that that's where, like, the barrier is, right? Where it's not any of the other stuff of, like, actually moving or, like, being removed from your family or anything like that. It's, like, language. But, like, I mean, that's I give Ian full credit because I can't... dude, I like, the house I'm in now is, like, 20 minutes away from my parents, and I grew up in... Like, I am not going anywhere. I can't imagine, like, removing or dislocating to somewhere else. It's just... That's too much. So, okay, so you guys are playing games. You're talking about, I'm assuming, like, oh, wait a minute. We can actually hold a conversation for a little while here. Like,
yeah, well, actually, it evolved a bit more after that because we got into Pokemon for ages. We started talking about Pokemon. Yeah. And then I think it was the end of that year. Sun and Moon came out last year. And then me and him got big into that. But I'm the kind of Pokemon player that's not a catch-em-all. I like to find my favorites, and I like to just raise my favorites and have fun. But Ian's a collector, and so Ian's like, oh, well, I can't get these ones because they're console exclusive, like Sun or Moon exclusive. I nearly go to say console, but it's not really a console. So, and then I'm like, well, I'll trade you more. I don't care. I don't need these ones and stuff like that. And then we became really good friends after that because Ian's like, I can't believe you gave me all these Pokemon. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I like my favorites. I find the favorites I like in a new version, and I'll raise them, and that's all I'll use because I love using my favorites. That's just the way I like to play Pokemon.
And have you been I'm imagining you've been playing Pokemon all your life. Like, the difference in age between us is not great, but it's that perfect amount where I missed it by that much. Like, where I was like just a year and a half too old to think that cartoon was stupid.
Every version.
Yeah.
And I mean like literally every version. Sometimes I'll buy Red and Blue, or like Sun and Moon. I bought both just so I could raise two separate teams and wouldn't have to delete my file.
And do you have a Switch?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got it day one. Yeah.
Like, there's no like, have you ever, like, did you have Wii U then?
Yes.
So you've been like Nintendo the whole way kind of thing. Okay.
No, I got in.
That's my metric, by the way. Is if you had a Wii U, you're in there for like forever. But I guess maybe you're an exception.
I didn't have the NES or the Super NES. I was a Sega boy. Like, my parents got a Sega. I did have a 64. Loved my 64. Didn't get a GameCube whatsoever. And
did you think it was dumb?
No, I just got an Xbox instead.
You could say it was dumb. You could say you thought it was dumb. I thought it was dumb.
Because I asked my parents, I was like, why didn't I get the
next Nintendo? Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you bought like 4 different magazines. You researched like which one was the most powerful and stuff like, and what good games were coming out. And yeah, you told us that you wanted an Xbox, and I was like, man, I don't remember this whatsoever. so yeah, like, I could have easily never been an Xbox kid.
It was just sort of but what kind of magazine? Do you remember what kind of, like, because magazines, as soon as you say that, it just like brings me back, dude. Like, I had stacks of magazines, and I would read them back to front to back.
I think like Console Power, and then like the official, I don't even know if there was an official Xbox magazine. It must have been like the magazine version of like IGN, because there was no way I was looking at IGN, because Australia has no internet literally at that stage of my life.
Come on, really?
Yeah. Like, I didn't really get proper internet until I was in high school, I think, and that's only using it at high school. We didn't have it at home.
I'm about the same too, though. Like, maybe it's just this is a Commonwealth thing. Like, they didn't let us get good internet. I had dial-up speeds until
Oh, my
Gosh.
parents didn't even have internet till I was 17, I think, at the house.
Isn't that crazy, man? The stories we'll get to tell our kids about like coming into the internet. Like basically like because we're the age where like we grew up for a good portion not having internet.
We got to see both sides.
Yeah,
we
man.
got to see both sides. We grew up and we got to see the change. Like our parents got to see the change, but they weren't young when the change happened.
Like,
we
they didn't care.
There. Yeah. So they were like internet. Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. New technology.
God, like my parents just got like faster internet down there. Like I'm telling, like they get 2 megabytes a second. That's faster internet for their house. Yeah, and my dad still didn't understand. I was like, you're gonna need more than 50 gigabytes a month because like they finally learned how to use Netflix and stuff like that. They're not old. It's just my dad is.
No, my parents are exactly the same.
He doesn't like change. Like he only literally got a proper mobile 2 years ago. Like an
phone.
Smartphone 2 years ago. Like up until then, he had his flip phone. No, not even that. It was like nearly a Nokia.
No way. I'm pretty jealous of that, actually. Like, there's so much nostalgia surrounding that old Nokia phone, and even the flip. Like, it just felt so good to like you answer the phone, you just like pop it open, and
like when did you get one as a kid? That's another way like our kids won't understand. Like, I didn't get mine until I was in year 11, and only because I won the maths extension award for that year, and my parents were like, all right. You won the award for the school. Like, I guess we can get. And even then, like, I got a Nokia, and people were starting to get flip phones at that stage. So,
yeah. Well, that's when you had to realize what was the cool phone and what was the wrong phone to get. And like, thank God, I got like the Nokia was the cool one, or at least like where I grew up. But like, I easily could have got this other one. I had like this the very first MP3. It was a Samsung phone. It was like kind of like a fake flip. It just had the cover that like came down and had a big old like play button. I think you could hold 128 megabytes on. It was this huge deal.
God.
Old
like,
MP3
pictures
players,
are bigger
dude.
than that now. Like a single picture is more than that these days.
God, we are old, right? Like these are the things that we reminisce about. I remember when I got my phone, like my parents basically like you're getting an Xbox because of the research that you're doing, and maybe you make mention of it. I got my phone for my birthday, my very first cell phone, because I was gonna buy a friend of mine's phone, but my mom got really scared that like I was gonna get his phone number, or like maybe some this was one of those like questionable friends that like you don't really know if your parents really like. You know, maybe into the drugs and stuff like that. Maybe she was just being racist. I'm not really sure, but she got intimidated. And she's like, you're not buying that phone. If you really want to get a phone, then we'll get you one like legitimately instead of having this used one that you're about to buy. And that kind of just, I've been, paying ever since. Have you changed numbers though? Like there's a few people in my life who've had the same number.
I've had the same number since I was in year 10. So
I'm so jealous.
I was in year 10. So that's like 14, 15 years ago.
Sure,
I've had that number.
How does that feel? Counting those years.
Like, what was it? Two years ago, it was my 10th anniversary of like high school anniversary, and man, did I feel old.
Oh yeah.
And now, man.
The T9 word so good.
Oh man. Yeah.
Nato, I want to ask you, okay, so enough about OKBeast and old phones, because I don't want to run out of time. There's a very specific thing that I messaged you just out of the blue. I was listening to you on I can't remember what show, and you had made mention that you were a stripper.
Oh, yeah. It would have been my show. It would have been my... Oh, no, actually, no, I think I was on somebody else's show, and I half mentioned it. So, yeah, I'm one of those people that has no shame, really, whatsoever. So,
that's criteria number one.
I think in later years of high school, so year 11 and year 12, like get enough like alcohol into me, or like even some. I'm not even gonna blame the alcohol. Sometimes it was non-alcohol related.
Just proud.
I would the person that would go for the nudie runs and stuff like that, or somebody was like, I dare you to get naked, and I'll be like, yeah, okay.
You didn't even have to dare me.
Nah. And then I can't remember why, but some person was like, hey, would you like think of just doing like a funny strip show for my like 18th or something next year? And I was like, you know what? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
So
was this a guy or girl?
It was a girl.
Okay. Would you have done it if it was a guy?
Yeah. Why not? It would have. It was fun.
Well, that's what I thought. Maybe you just do it as a joke.
yeah, it wasn't even like a striptease for them at like when I eventually did it. It was just like literally like came out and did like, I don't know if you've seen like a bachelorette party or something.
Sure.
Because yeah, where you get the stripper over and he just does a whole show for the whole party rather than, well, for a bachelor party they usually end up finishing on the person, but like,
whoa,
not in that way.
Oh, okay.
Come on, get your mind out of the gutter.
Oh. Talking about strippers, get my mind out of the gutter.
I did that, and then somebody else at the party was like, "Hey, would you do one for mine as well? Would you do it as like a cow? It was either cowboy or a fireman or something." And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And then I did it for a couple more friends' parties, and then somebody at one of the parties, somebody came up to me and was like, "Hey, so I kind of work for a company that freelances people if you want. Like, we can get you in professionally, but like you don't seem,
now come sit on this couch and I'm gonna film you for a second."
He's like, we can get you in professionally, we can set you up, or we can just do freelance. Like, if we have a job for you, we call you, we'll pay for you to go, like, we'll get you a gym membership and stuff like that. So
I love it. Yeah, sure.
And yeah, so that whole year of my first year out of high school, I was at uni. I was doing a double degree, so like I definitely had no time to like work because it was so hard. Yeah, what was I doing? Nearly 80-hour like uni weeks.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah, double degree. Anyone like, unless you have no time on your hands and you are super committed, never do a double degree straight up.
Dude, I did 1 degree and I didn't even take a full course load. Like, I was just like, I'm taking my time. It took me 6 years to get my degree.
Yeah, I know. Well, it ultimately led down to me like leaving uni after a year because I was.
Oh,
like,
really? Just
I'm
too
done.
much.
Yeah.
But it's the classic stripper story, Nato.
Yeah.
It's the classic, look, I'm putting myself through school, like, this is just temporary, which, as it turns out, it was.
Yeah. Well, and so stripping was like 1 or 2 nights a week, and I would sometimes get up to like $400 to $600 for that one night. So,
no way, good for you, dude.
Yeah, so it paid for like my life for that whole first year of being at uni, and then
you graduate and make so much less. Getting a real job.
The next year after that, I got an offer to go up to the mines, like to actually work on like land mines, and never looked back since then.
No way. That's actually very similar to here how things go. Like, a lot of people get pulled out just out of university too, do a couple years of stripping, and then they go work in the oil mines up north. So like, so you're single at this time that the stripping is happening, I'm gathering. Were you single or were you attached?
I think I had a girlfriend.
What did she think?
During that year? At one stage, I met her during one of them.
Come on. How does that, okay, what is that conversation like? Because it seems like there's like strippers and waitresses or waiters, like it's just like you don't.
I'd do the show and then like finish up, put my clothes back on, and then enjoy myself for the rest of the night at the party.
Is that ever not awkward? Putting your clothes back on?
No.
It's always awkward.
Quite the opposite. It's just like a lot of times you come because anyone knows girls like confidence, and like there is no more confidence than getting completely naked in front of the party. So like you have a lot of girls that you would not usually be like, if I just met them normally at a party, they'd be like, "Oh, hey, how are you?" and just kind of breeze off. But then they're just like, so
like you have no problem with this. So okay, I can't believe I'm asking this question. Like, are we talking full Monty stripping, or you have like a little like danglies?
Yeah. Like
is that extra?
Show it. Like, I never fully show down there. Like, I'd usually, if I was like a fireman, like the last moment would be like the pants come off and the hat goes down, so the hat's covering. And sometimes I'd turn around and you'd see full ass and stuff like that. But yeah.
You turn okay, so you're just like bare ass or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, and are you in houses? Because like I've been to bachelor parties and like the stripper comes and like you're in a house. Yeah, so that's
always at a house. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude, that is the funniest thing I've ever. Okay, so you met. What is that conversation like? Where you're like, okay, I think maybe we're actually like, are we dating now? Like, and how like?
Well, like because
but I'd like to take it slow. Like, you ever play that angle?
No, I am definitely not a slow person whatsoever when it comes to relationships, which led to a lot of relationships going bad, because it was just like, we moved way too quick for this and we don't even like each other.
But why are we telling each other that we love each other?
Yeah, exactly. So it was normal. She's like, oh, do you want to go out for like breakfast tomorrow or something like that. And then it's just, that's the way. I think that was the only one like relationship that ever came out of the stripping and all that.
That's amazing. So when did you finally like hang up the tassels?
Probably after when I got the job up north. Cause
yeah,
I was like,
that was pretty much it.
I don't need the money anymore. Like, I can still get naked. I just don't have to. It's like,
don't have to sign a contract anymore.
Once I started doing professional stuff, it wasn't as fun. Like, I think I had more fun doing it at like friends' parties and stuff like that. Because like I know the people in the crowd and they were like laughing and having fun. Like, I've always been like the clown, like the class clown. Like, I liked to make people laugh and all that.
Is
so
amazing.
I like people to enjoy themselves. So.
But I'm trying to like transport in terms of time. Like, this is actually maybe you just missed it. Like, would you do it now, knowing that like everybody's got a video camera and a regular camera, I guess, on their phone, like, right? Like, because you kind of were able to avoid that, and like you never have to worry about that.
There's some pictures that are floating around the internet, but apart from that, that's it.
I would really like to like not spend too much time, because I feel like that would be weird to like really scour the internet for these pictures, but to have that as the thumbnail for this episode.
They're easily, I can find you one. There's easy one on my MySpace.
Yeah, I don't know if I even want to ask. Like, I'm not sure how I feel about it.
No, I have.
But it'd be funny.
Still.
Yeah, I know. We can do like the what the heck, Borat. Was it Borat? We had the big sensor bar. Like, just ridiculous. Oh gosh, that's amazing. Like, what do you have any other like crazy life like, I just feel like every other moment you're gonna be doing something insane, or I don't know. Well, like,
that is literally the whole reason for our podcast. Like, the last night of Kind of Funny 2, when everyone went to the big drinks at the hotel together, I can't remember which night that was. Me and like the guys that eventually formed 4 Yanks 1 Aussie, we were like, yeah, I really enjoy hanging out with you guys. Like, do you want to we all just get like a bunch of drinks, go back to our hotel room, and like just chill and tell stupid stories? And like that whole night was us telling us our crazy stories to each other. And then like that morning we woke up and we're like, man, people might would have like listened to some of these crazy stories. Like, we should just make a podcast like when we get back. And it would also like force us to like stay in touch, so like we don't do this stupid thing where like once you leave you're like, oh yeah, we'll keep in touch, and then like you message once a month, and the next minute's like once every couple of months, and then you're like, don't even talk. Yeah.
But you know what, that's the best part about podcasting, I think. Like, I kind of wish that I podcasted with like my family or like my close friends who are here. Like, I did a show called Nerdflix and Chill, and it was the greatest because I got to talk with my friend Gary every week. And then we stopped doing the show actually about a year ago, and because I knew like baby was coming, and it was just like we had to watch a new movie in the theater, and we watched a movie on Netflix, and it was just like, that's 5 hours minimum, and then to record the show and then do everything else is like, this thing was like a 7-hour commitment, and then it stopped, and it sucks because I don't get to chat with him. So like, that's the sort of like, people talk to me all the time about like, I want to do a show, I'm not really sure what it is, or if anybody's gonna listen, and I'm like, honestly, man, like, if the only person listening is your mother, then like, as long as you enjoyed having the conversations and you enjoy the scheduling that comes out of that, as odd as that sounds.
4 Yanks is 100% for, like, I don't want to sound selfish, but it's 100% for us. Like, it's just
totally,
we want to talk to each other, and if people like there is a big for how little we are, like, listening base now, but like, even if all of them disappear, we still do it every week because we just love talking to each other, and it's like, man, it's like our weekly catch up with each other. That's why we thought of doing a video game podcast at first, but then we're like, nah, then we'll have to like think of topics and stuff. Let's just chat. Like, we're all big fans of like Comedy Button and my brother and me, and that's
I gotta get on that one. I love those guys. I listen to Quality Control, and I skip every time it's not Justin McElroy.
McElroy, yeah.
I'm like blanking on his last name, like you did with the Wolf at the start. Look, man, I feel like we could just chat for hours and hours, but I have a couple questions that sort of like round out the things here.
Stop me, because I will mumble.
Well, no, and I'm the exact same, and like, I've had some shows that kind of go on a little, and I feel bad too because everybody's got other shows that they want to listen to, so I just try and keep it as concise as possible. I definitely wanted to hear about the stripper stories. But where are you coming on, like, the Game of the Year stuff? Like, do you feel like you've played everything, or are you in a mad rush?
No, I still, I should play Wolfenstein, but I wasn't a fan whatsoever of number 1.
Damn it, friends off. Sounds like you like
No,
Nazis to me.
No, I just don't like.
Oh, you don't like killing Nazis?
No, I just don't like. It is futuristic, but it's still just a military shooter to
Sure.
me. It still is. Like, it's not sci-fi enough. It's not future enough for me. And I hate Call of Duty. I tolerate Battlefield because it's if it wasn't big scale like it is, I probably wouldn't like it either.
Right.
Like, anytime you play a small match on Battlefield, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I like the big warfare. And yeah, there's just I'm not really a big fan of those kind of games. So, and I do, I don't know. I hate Nazis anyway, but like, I don't need a video game.
Nope.
I don't
Sounds
need
like you
video
really hate
games
them.
to kill them.
You don't need video games to kill Nazis.
I'll just kill them in real life. That's
just
all we
punch
really
them
need.
just punch them in the face. So what is the, like, if you haven't already been talking about this, like what's kind of like, is it as easy as Zelda for you?
No, Zelda's not mine.
Oh, okay. So where are you at?
Divinity Original Sin is
there
my
it
one.
is. Yeah, you're smarter than Zelda. I haven't played Divinity yet. It was like $10 on Xbox. The original one was $10, and I thought I might try to. Is that like? Did you play the first one?
First one's really good as
Is
well.
it?
Yes. Yeah.
How do you deal with like do you get all the sales too? Like, does Black Friday sort of like spill over, or like are there deals?
It did this year.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Like, digitally wise, it
Sure.
has.
Mm-hmm.
Shopping wise, strangely a few shops.
Maybe
were
you don't
like,
need that. You don't need, like, you just do everything online. How do you deal with, like, because we're getting, like, it's pretty new for us as well. I'm trying to, like, it's great for buying gifts, but it's kind of like, I want people to, like, also buy the gifts, like, for me. Like, I kind of want some of these games, and you're seeing all the deals. Like, do you buy stuff for yourself, or, like, how do you handle all that?
Yeah, I'm one of those terrible people that buys, when it comes to Christmas and birthdays, and people are like, what do you want? And I'm like,
gift cards for the next
sale?
thing?
Because I bought everything.
Mm-hmm.
I bought everything that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the only thing I want at the moment now is an Xbox One X, and I can't really tell one person to buy me that.
I know, right? And gift cards are kind of tricky. So a lot of people don't really like getting gift cards and stuff.
No, well, I am one that's very, like, gift card me.
Oh, I love getting gift cards. I think people giving gift cards.
Like, yeah, my missus's family, all of them buy me gift cards. My own family get me gift cards. I always tell them, like, our version. I think it's like, do they have Best Buy up in Canada as well?
Mm-hmm. It bought a different company and it shut it down. So
really.
Yeah, it's a company I used to work at.
We've got our version of that. It's called JB Hi-Fi. They do everything that Best Buy does.
Sure.
And so I always tell them, buy me JB Hi-Fi gift vouchers. Because I used to buy a lot from EB.
Yeah, we got EB Games.
EB Games. Yeah. Is it still EB Games?
In Canada, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's EB Games here still.
So it should be.
But they don't usually have as good prices as JB Hi-Fi, so I'm like, buy me JB Hi-Fi gift vouchers.
You gotta make the choice.
Sometimes I'll price match at EB, but it's easy to just buy at JB these days.
So this episode is going to air a week before Christmas. Tell me about what's Christmas like for you, man. Like, what is it like?
Hot.
Yeah, like that just seems wrong, man.
Hot, yeah, like easily 30 degrees minimum.
So as a kid, you're looking at this Santa Claus character all dressed up. He's got his big boots and everything. He's ready for snow. Like, is there like a sexy Santa?
Santa wears a red singlet and like red shorts, like short shorts. And
yeah, of course he does.
Yeah, and he usually rides his 6 white kangaroos instead. We
way.
Call them boomers. Yeah, 6 white boomers.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's gonna be the thumbnail for it. It's gonna be sexy Santa and his boomers.
Yeah.
I freaking love that. Okay, so now this puts a whole other spin. This is a tradition that we had at my house growing up, and I cannot wait to introduce my son to it when he's old enough. At my parents' house, growing up, they would have all the presents in their room. Everything was wrapped, and like even the stuff that we would get, we would just throw everything into my parents' bedroom, which was like such a mysterious place. Like, you weren't really allowed to play in there. You weren't really allowed to go in there. It was very clean, and like you just weren't. So on Christmas, you were allowed to go in, and there's double magic because it's Christmas time. And one at a time, the rest of the family would be by the Christmas tree with no gifts under it. We're all just sitting there drinking our eggnog or whatever. And one by one, we would dress up as Santa Claus and go fill a sack full of like the gifts in my parents' bedroom, and then bring them down. We'd jingle like the jingle bells and stuff.
Yeah.
And like ho ho ho, and it would just like, it was like family time hype for Christmas, and it was so incredible. And just we would kind of like take the gifts out of the bag and shake them and be like, oh, I wonder what this is. It's to Sean from whoever, and you get all like, ooh, what could it be? And yeah, man,
awesome.
like that's just I think that was from my mom's side, and I can't wait to just bring that to my kids. So I'm always curious, and like this is a thing that like as a kid you just think that everybody does this, and then you start talking to people and like, so like what'd you do last week? Oh, we did that thing where you bring the gifts down. They're like, that's not a thing.
Well, one of my like things my parents used to do, they used to get like, because there's no snow down here, obviously. Even if it was winter, we don't get snow in WA. They would get flour and like tip it slowly from the door to like the Christmas tree in the lounge room, and then like my dad would go get like what I established as an adult now, what he would probably have done. He's got like his big work boots and then like stomp along.
I love it.
So like there was like footsteps leading into like the Christmas tree. God, it was just that extra step sometimes is like those beautiful things that you're like, as an adult you can appreciate them now. You're like, you didn't have to do that.
Right, because as an adult you're like, I just want to go to bed. Like I'm so exhausted. I don't want to do extra stuff. Yeah,
I remember getting up at like 4 a.m. and like waking my parents up to go open presents. Now, like,
isn't that the truth?
I might stumble over to my parents' house at like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock and be like, oh yeah, all right, let's do these presents. I can't do that as much now because like my uncle and his cousins, they're probably about 8 and all that, so they want to get up at like 6, 7 a.m. and open all the presents if they're here in Perth.
Yeah.
So, oh man.
Like even we had like stockings at the end of the bed, and like you wouldn't really go all the way to sleep. You kind of have like one eye open, kind of like looking. And my parents would actually sneak in the middle of the night, and that's when they would fill the stockings, everything. And I always just wanted to, like, you want to catch Santa and you think that that's a real thing. Spoiler: Santa's not real. But yeah, like oh wait, maybe in Australia he is real. Like maybe that's the only way you can make that work because there's too many people up here. Santa Christmas is just magical time. I absolutely love it. I just wanted to take a little trip down memory lane with you after talking about your stripping days. Nato, thank you so much for doing this, dude. Why don't you tell everybody on the internet where they can find you and the podcast that you're part of and all of that stuff?
You can always find me at NatoJ18 on Twitter. Just a caution, I am pretty hot takey on the Twitters, but I like to have fun. I'm always having fun. Never ever think I'm being serious on the Twitters, anybody. I got into a few arguments on the last couple of weeks, and I'm like, I hope everyone realizes I'm just joking on Twitter, but that's all right. But I'm pretty funny, so go follow me on Twitter. You can also always catch me on the cross-continental podcast 4 Yanks 1 Aussie. It's at 4 Yanks 1 Aussie with numbers, not letters, for the 4 and the 1. You can also catch me over on the OK Beast Network doing A+ Anime, where each week we bring an anime in, we talk about the first episode and why you should watch the rest of the series. So if you, or like I've always had people like, oh no, I haven't seen that anime. I was like, that's perfect. That's why that episode's there for, to like help you to get into that episode and that season and stuff like that.
And I love it because I would never get into it, and I'll just be like, that's my exposure to anime. Like as much as I want to get into, it's just like I just can't do TV too much anyways. I'm sorry for interrupting. I just wanted to insert that, even if you don't get around to watching the show.
Do you watch movies at least though?
Movies is it for me. Like movies for me, like I'd totally rather spend 3 hours watching a movie than 3 hours watching a TV show.
Have you watched any of the Studio Ghibli stuff?
No, not yet.
That's nearly. It's better than Disney.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do that. I'm sorry, but I interrupted.
Here's the one. There's Spirited Away. Definitely watch that. Howl's Moving Castle. And probably people are going to tear me apart because everyone has their favorites. It's like Disney movies. Everyone has their favorite Disney movie. But these are my 3 favorite. And then probably Princess Mononoke is the other one that I love.
Nice, man.
Yeah, they're because the studio that does them, Studio Ghibli, is literally Japanese Disney. Like that's the kind of movies they are.
Gotcha. And is it Crunchyroll? When you guys get your Crunchyroll sponsorship?
God, I would die once we get a
Seriously.
Crunchyroll sponsorship. I don't even want them to pay me. I want them to just give me the code that allows people to get like a whole month free because I want more people to watch.
I'm sure you're close. Well, Ian's in Japan. You guys, this has to happen.
Yeah. And this week as well, this week's episode with Chase, we talk about Akira, and that's probably one of the like similar to something like Blade Runner. It's the anime version of Blade Runner. It's so influential and it's so amazing, and like and we rewatched it before we did the podcast, and it's aged very well.
Well,
It's such
I
a
have
good
to
movie.
tune in just because I don't know what the hell is going on in Akira. I don't know if anybody does, but if anybody's gonna untangle this mess, it's you and Chase. So
And you'll be surprised how much of Akira has bled through into nerd culture.
Oh,
There's
sure.
Because there's a scene where like they skid out with a motorbike.
it reminds me of
and
Next
it's
Machina actually a little bit.
Yeah, it's replicated in so much like cartoons,
Mm-hmm.
TV shows, and that's the original point of where that comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And what else? Oh, and I've started. Oh, it'd be late for American and Canadian viewers, but I've started streaming D&D in my Sunday night, so it'd be like very like early mornings, Sunday mornings for American viewers. So if you're up at that time, I'm on Nato J18 on Twitch. I'm the DM, and I'm DM a whole bunch of my Australian friends doing
That's
that.
awesome. Dude, I'm going to have to absolutely have you back because I want to talk about D&D. I don't know what to make of it, but I know that like it has bled into a lot of things that I love.
You've never played.
Like I've tried to get what's the what are the guys that on the YouTube they partnered up with a kind of Critical Role. I just need somebody to walk me through it a little bit more because I want to get it. I'm fascinated by it. I played a board game.
You're a big fan of the McElroys, though, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
They have a podcast, The Adventure Zone.
Yeah,
you have to listen to
gonna have
that.
to do
That is
that.
probably one of the best stories ever.
Okay.
I would cut off all my toes to be even half as good as that story in my DMing. So
Okay. I'm gonna do that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is the end. Thank you.
goodbye.
That's it. That's the entire show. Lincoln, we're all done here. We're all finished. Remember, you guys can follow Nato on all the podcasts, A+ Anime, 4Yanks1Aussie, and on Twitter at NatoJ18. Lincoln is joining in. He doesn't understand that like when one person's talking on a podcast that you sort of have to let them finish and then you can jump in. Are you getting that now? The music, the theme song for December, Super Mario Sleigh Ride. It's available on OC Remix. I highly recommend you guys go download that to your audio device of choice because it instantly puts you in a good mood. I hope it does anyways. It does for me for sure. And me, by the way, speaking of me, I am Sean Capri. Follow me on Twitter, Sean like Connor Capri like the pants. You can follow the show, We the GamerCast. And every follow helps, guys. I really appreciate it every time you share and tweet and respond and engage. It is amazing. Remember, I also do the Gaming Gurus with Bobby Paul's the Nintendo Guru. And this week we had Adam Leonard, the amazing artist, Adam Leonard. So check that out if you haven't already. And I'm also on the Xbox Drive with Dave Moore. Of course, that's where I drive to work and I talk about Xbox with Dave Moore. It's pretty amazing. And it's honestly, it's such a great time. It fits in your commute. It's because it fits in my commute because that's how I record it. 20 minutes long, 30 minutes long, 37-ish. So please check it out. And also please consider supporting us at patreon.com/makeusbetter. We're going to be talking about new stuff in January 2018. Thank you to everybody for being with us so far. We have new things to talk about. Now is not the right time though. We'll talk about, we'll do a big push in January, but that's pretty much it. As a thank you for listening, I'm going to give you a game. I'll give you two games, actually. If you take one, you can take the next one. The first one is Day of the Tentacle, the classic game. Point and shoot. The click, click, click and shoot and point and click. That's the one that I need to land on. Those are the letters that you need to type in. That's right. Lincoln is giving you Morse code, basically, right now. He's kind of just, like, shouting and clapping, and I think that's... you're right. Day of the Tentacle. 7CH7 M as in mother. QL TJ N5QBAA. That's Day of the Tentacle. That is yours for listening. The other game, really cool game, Hand of Fate, H326T7XAQ5KFEAB. Otherwise, this is episode 120. It's now in your ears and your eyeballs. Thank you again for listening and watching. I'll be back next week. I hope you're there too. Now it's time for Say It. It's time for Jason. Say it.
Say it.
Jason! 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 God! Jason! 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 Sean! 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 Jason! 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 Jason!